For 4 days, 300 souls lived inside a bubble of music and connection. It was called the Jacob Collier Hideaway. It was a truly transformational experience, a place where everyone embraced exploration, openness, and curiosity. But what happens when you leave this bubble? When you're scattered back to your own corner of the world? For me, the experience was too meaningful to let it fade into a distant memory. So this podcast is my anchor, a space to share who you are, stories, inspiration, creative aspirations, and struggles. These are Hideaway stories. And to begin each episode, I asked every guest to bring a song, a sound, a jingle that is meaningful to them, that inspired them. And this is the sound for my next guest. That's beautiful.
Thanks, yo.
Hey, David.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
What is the sound? I mean, that's a first. You're the first one actually playing live. So why did you... No, wait, it's not true. Blake did a small piano thing on episode, I think, 2 or 3. But you're the first one playing guitar. So,
Wow.
Yeah, tell me, what is the sound? Why did you choose this?
Yeah, it's very interesting because my whole life I've done like jazz, rock, pop, R&B, hip hop. Grew up playing guitars, pianos, basses, singing. And I've always felt the folk sound in my whole life, and I've always searched for it. And then the last couple of years I've just really searched far and wide, and it's just a sound I've now come to love and know, and it's something that's just ingrained in my fingers already. I didn't really have to learn anything, just had to bring it out, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, just even just simple open tunings allow for super creative expression, and yeah.
So I want to dig into this because I'm not sure if I understand. You say you were looking for the folk sound.
Yeah, I mean, so,
what is it? Because, I mean, do you mean something different than country music, or because looking for, it sounds very specific what you were looking for.
Totally, yeah. I was looking for that sound that, I don't know, the fluttery acoustic guitars and the, sick open chords and, the really just, beautiful melodic just playing that you hear on old or even new folk records, even with some of the Chris Thile stuff that he does, and even with some of the textures that Jacob plays. And so I've been searching for that, and I've been feeling it in my body for my whole life. And these last couple of years just been I'm all right, I'm gonna break every rule that I've ever learned in music. I'm gonna teach myself a whole new way of learning and thinking, and just gonna see what happens. And yeah, out this came out an entire journey, an entire tons of albums, tons of music, and an unlimited way of exploring. Yeah.
I have so many questions.
All right, let's hear it.
I try to make a structure from it because otherwise I will lose myself in all these questions. The first thing that came to mind was when you were playing and said this folk sound. It reminded me also, when you were mentioning Jacob, it reminded me of the vibe that I get from The Sun Is in Your Eyes.
Sure, yeah.
It's also this tiny, I don't even know how to say, sparkly, lightweight, beautiful shimmy, shimmering kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you say you felt it in your body your entire life.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I feel like as musicians and artists, we're just always constantly just like filtering what's coming in and what's coming out and what's coming in and like trying to put our own spin and our own like way of existing through it. And like what we produce and what we play is what, I guess makes it out of, from outside to, I guess more outside. But my whole life I've just, I've been playing all these other genres and I'm like, you know what? This is great. This is awesome. I'm having the greatest time of my life, but I would love to also feel this. And like, it's just like a feeling. It's a color. It's like a sensation. It's a sound. It's a sight. It's something that like, is there in your body. You just have to like put the right like pieces together to like connect and open the doors and change channels, and then so it can like broadcast. It's like switching through a TV, you know?
So I'm still saying there. You felt it in your body your entire life. It's so interesting. You're associating this with folk music, like folky things.
Yeah.
What I hear is that you're describing an emotion.
Yeah. I guess it's a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like a vibe, like a feeling, like an emotion. And I'm interested in why you associate that with folk.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe because I did every other genre growing up and I felt a lot, and this was the one I hadn't explored tons, and it was like calling out. And I love the guitar. I mean, I love the piano. I don't know, my piano's over here. All my guitars are over here. But yeah, it's, I did a lot of jazz growing up, a lot of classical music, and not that it's not folk, which, you could say that jazz is actually an American folk art form, because it is like, I mean, no music is ever truly derivative of the United States. I mean, we're all just like a melting pot of cultures. So, but it is an art form, I'll say, that has developed and learned to grow and flourish through the evolution of the United States as well. And so, like, I grew up playing that a lot, and it's a certain sound, certain like the way that like voicings feel on your fingers or your guitars, or like the way that like chords connect to each other's, or the way that like melodies come in and out around. And it's completely different than like, I'd say, I don't know, all music is connected though, so it's hard to say. But in a sense that like, if you listen to a Bill Evans record, like the harmony is way different than if you listen to like a Justin Bieber record, or if you listen to a Dua Lipa record. And so just like learning to navigate those waters of, musical landscape, I'd say there's so many different like islands and so many different boats and so many different places in which like classical music takes you, jazz music takes you, pop, electronic, dubstep, metal. And I guess one of the islands that I like knew was out there on the map, and one that I like really wanted to go to, but I'd always been exploring all these other ones, was like this like feeling of what folk music makes me feel and how I want to express that feeling. And I knew the island was out there, and all I had to do was just like keep searching and sailing. And eventually it led to like, an archipelago and a chain of islands and an endless landscape of musical findings.
I will definitely go into that, but I'm still fascinated by the folk part.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because as a German, I'm not very much attuned to the country music American
sure.
side of things, because what I mean, at least, yeah, what my taste is and what has always been interested in is anything that what we in Germany call black music, which is kind of a crazy term, I guess.
Yeah.
But soul, jazz, funk, rap, like all of these things, that's what I was interested in. And country to me I didn't know. It's only been a few years since I'm interested in it, because I think what I always associated with country was this pop country song, like this. I have a truck, I have a beer, I have a
Oh
woman,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like this kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
And now I'm also seeing the multifaceted like world that this actually has to offer. Still, what I see as what I always thought to be the genre of this folk thing that you said had more to do with the bluesy, like a bit more heavy vibe that is more going towards this the world is hard but we can make it kind of vibe, you know? Like harmonica, like somebody with a steel guitar and a raspy voice.
Yeah.
And but what you're showing me now is lightweight. It's nice. It's Blake called it a flourish. Like,
yeah,
it lifts you up.
Yeah.
So maybe you can make a distinction for me here.
For sure, yeah. Oh man, putting labels on music is hard because it's all just like music, you know? And I feel like words constantly fall flat because it's like the word is the funnel to like the bowl that is all of these ideas and every color and every sensation. And like somehow we got to take all of this and like funnel it down into like these like words that come out. So like, you know,
That's true.
it's like a meat packing facility where you just like, you know, and so words fall flat. But I feel like the difference in all of these different subgenres of every genre of music is, I guess, just feeling and intention. And, you know, like if someone wants to write about their truck and a beer and the lake, like right on, brother, you know, like whatever like brings you closer to yourself in the music. Or if anyone wants to write about like, you know, steel string guitars with the harmonica and like the, you know, the resistance against the government or what's going on in the like geopolitical world, like right on. You know, I think for me, like folk music is, when I say folk, to me, like the definition is more like music that'll ground you, but like you said, lift you up. And to me, I'm just trying to make people think and feel again, you know? And I think the distinction between all of these is like, just feel, you know? I'd say like, there's like, I don't know if I can do it in this tuning, but like, you know, it's like folk, you know? But then like country, I'd say like, you know, like, I mean, but also that's kind of bluegrass. It's kind of country. I think it's just rhythm, feel. I don't know. I'm in a very folk mood in my lifetime right now. So like, you know.
Can you play something bluesy?
Yeah, I totally
as a distinction?
can. You know. I can, just not in this tuning.
Okay.
I do a lot of different tunings. I got another guitar here. I got you. Off camera. Podcasts in. We're going at it. Yeah. Here we go. So like, okay. Hopefully I'll be able to hear this. It's not plugged in, but like, you know. You know, throw some jazz in there. But like, yeah, I think I gotta pick somewhere. It's gone.
Do you know I mean, we can stay there. I'm glad to stay there. But do you know I think I referenced him already in the podcast. Miles Caton?
Miles. Sounds familiar.
He did the music to Sinners. Do you know the movie?
Oh, yeah. I see what you, yeah. Yeah,
And there's
the singer.
and then there's one song called "I Lied to You."
Mm-hmm.
It's currently I'm obsessed with this song
Yeah, that's
since a
great.
longer time. Do you know this one?
Yeah, I mean, I know of it for sure. I've heard
I'll
it a
just play
bunch,
it for a
yeah.
second. I mean, I have to edit it out, that's for sure. But just so that you have a reference from what I feel that this
Totally.
heartfelt blues. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time.
Yeah, that's like blues for sure. You know?
Yeah. So yeah, we can get back to your. I was just nerding out on the blues part. You said, I have to sort myself back together. You said you broke every rule that you know and you started looking for this folk thing and changed the way you played. Tell me about what you meant.
For sure. Yeah. Let me see if the piano mics are on, because I don't know if it's gonna do multi-mic. Can you hear that? A little bit?
Yeah, it works. It works fine.
Sick. All right, so I would say, like, I think in music school and just in life, a lot of people will tell you what to do, what not to do. And there's a lot of times where, like, okay, don't, mix voicings with, don't have, like, half steps in the top of your voicings, but, like, you can get some really... You can get some, like, really beautiful voicings when you do that. Or, like, if you play around with levels of, like, dissonance between notes and sounds, and, like, you could have, or even just, like, playing on terms of, like, brightness. And so really what happened is I just had to, like, just really think about what was taught, what was learned, and then what is actually me. And, like, I just had to go through everything I ever learned, really. I know I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, and find what was actually my truest, what I actually liked in music. Because, like, if you think about it, we're all just running around with our heads chopped off like a chicken. We're like, none of us know what is actually ever happening in real life. Like, no one is, like, the master of the universe. No one is, like, the all-seeing, like, knower of everything. And so, like, we're all just, like, the second we become conscious, we're just plopped into this world of, like, all right, it's this big, massive survival game. Like, let's see what happens. Like, and there's things to do and places to go and people to meet and, like, missions to achieve. And along your way, like, it's like with any craft or any trade. If you get into baking, people will be like, oh, don't do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, don't do that. And there's merit to everything that everyone says, because it's just knowledge that we've all learned from the people that came before us, which is why we have, like, music theory, and it's just ways of, like, funneling everything that is down into, like, these, like, tiny descriptor words. And, like, some of it's great. Some of it is, like, a little woo-wee, and, like, I get pretty woo-woo out there. And then some of it is also just, like, really subjective to who you are and how you feel, because, like, again, it just goes back to the point of, like, don't have minor seconds on your top voicing. It's like a very big like, orchestration and clarity thing. But man, sometimes you just need to, like, sometimes you just need to sit in that and like feel that and like see where it goes. And you never would get those feelings or these voicings if you voiced it different. Like if you were to do a right voicing, you know, which there is no right voicing, it would be, you know, something, which is great, equally just as great, but like you don't get like the same amount of pain, and the feeling is just like, it's minimal. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that made a little bit of sense.
Yeah, I love that. You're able to express yourself through music, which is something I can't, just from ability. My ability isn't good enough to be able to express myself. I can express myself through feeling it for myself because I know what I have in my head.
Totally.
But expressing it outward is a completely different ball game. And you said to like you had to break the rule and to find also yourself. So what did you find? What would you say is you when you try to make sense of it?
So guitar tunings. Most guitars and basses, I would say, like play in a standard tuning, which is fourths. You know, EAD with the G to B is the third. So, but like EAD, GBE is like standard tuning for a guitar. Like guitars are set up for that. They're played for that. They're strung for that. They're built for that. But like, I felt like I was so deep into like the fretboard and where the notes were and what the notes were and how the notes connected to other notes and what the chords were, and just like, you know, looking like a mad scientist. Or like, you ever seen that meme of Charlie Day where he's like pointing to a wall and there's just like yarn everywhere and he's like crazy and his eyes are huge and caffeinated? If not, I'll send it to you. It's pretty funny. But like, I just felt like I was getting, my brain was thinking too much. And with music, your brain is great. Your brain is awesome. It's a way of like filtering and processing everything that is. But like with music, you just gotta like feel it with your soul and your heart and your like whole body and like everything that is you, not just the brain. Like the brain is part of everything. And so like bring it all in together. And so one of the things I did is I just like started picking random tunings on a guitar. I just would detune all the strings and pick like random notes, random chords, random combinations of intervals, and from there, like the neck and the fretboard completely changes. And so when you don't know the notes anymore, you have to strictly rely on just like you. And so that's what happened. Is I changed all the notes. I changed every note that I had ever learned on a guitar, and found myself again through it. You know, it's I think my album now, go ahead.
What is currently your favorite tuning?
Oh man, I got so many.
Tell me 2 or 3, like however.
Sure.
Yeah. And maybe because you have perfect pitch, right?
I don't. I wish though.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. I thought you have.
Yeah.
But you have good relative pitch, I guess.
Hey, yeah, you know, I've been using it my whole life. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe play the tuning, because I personally wouldn't even remotely understand what it
Totally.
meant.
So
What
this is
tuning is that?
This is a baritone tuning of I don't even know. I think it's A. Yeah, A, D, A, E, E, A. Which is cool because it's like a. You get really cool voicing.
And it's a fretless guitar.
It is fretless, yeah. It's pretty crazy. There's another one. Okay, E flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, B flat, E flat is really cool.
Wait, E flat, A flat, E flat?
Yeah. B flat, B flat, E flat. That one's pretty fire.
Okay, wait, let me, just for a second. Why does it all have to be flat? I mean, if you look at it like a mathematical equation, you could just put +1 and then it's like the...
Oh, yeah. I just think of it as keys. So it's like this one's more in E flattish.
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool one is like D flat, D flat, G flat, D flat. No. Yeah. D flat, G flat, D flat, G flat, A flat, D flat. I got you. Let's see. So yeah, D flat, G flat, D flat, G flat, A flat, D flat. That one's a really cool one.
I mean, that's a typical case of. I mean, what you're showing me is a typical case of you have to know the rules to be able to break them.
For sure.
Because I wouldn't even begin to grasp of what the rule actually is.
Yeah, I mean, here's a hint. There's no rules,
There is no rules. Yeah,
there's
that's
no
true.
rules. And if you want, just pick random notes on your guitar. I mean, there's other ones like, I think it's easier to think of D flat in terms of major, but if you do minor, like C sharp's way easier to think of, even though they're like inharmonically the same. And so like you could do C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, B, E, and that's just like a C sharp minor chord. And it's really just like finding a tuning or a sound or a chord or a scale and then just seeing what comes out,
Since it's like if I ever played and would like just for production value, because I would only use it to produce a song and I cannot play at all, I would probably just tune it for ninth.
All right.
Because I love ninth and sevenths. So, yeah, guess that.
Do it. That's great, dude. Yeah. You could do C, G, D, G, B flat, E. Boom. C9 right there. Shit, we could do it right now, man. That's fine. But like, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, just pick a chord, pick a string, detune something, get creative, see what comes out, and what's gonna come out is a side of you that has always been there, but is not as tapped in, and if you tap into that side of you, you'll find so many different, more beautiful colors and feelings. Yeah.
I mean, now I'm getting on a philosophical level about instruments, because actually I never thought of it that way, but realizing that changing the tuning changes the expression so much, and the tuning possibilities are so vast, and you can do that with a piano, like it's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
Now I think I get why singer-songwriters so often use guitar, because it's such a perfect expression of authenticity and like yourself. I think it's
Totally.
much more closer to expressing yourself as who you are than maybe it is with a piano. I mean, that's a bold statement, but maybe it is.
For sure. Very bold. I think it's like, I think whichever one you gravitated towards first as a kid is the one that you're going to have a really, like a strong connection to. And at the end of the day, I think any of these instruments they're all just kind of languages, you know, and these tunings are different like dialects of languages. And so, like, you know, when I play piano, when I write on piano, I'm the same person as I am, but it's a different side of me that is like tapped into rather than when I'm like playing guitar or when I'm playing bass or when I'm singing. And it's like, you're just kind of just taking this like gumbo pot of just all these like dialects and languages and cultures and just trying to like fish out you know, at the end of the day. But, you know, I think guitar is a easy one for people. One, because the barrier of entry is not too expensive, and there's so many resources online to just like get up and start playing your chords. So it's like a quick way to just to go. I mean, pianos, obviously you got to get a piano, you got to have space for it, you got to have, you know, it's got to be relatively ish in tune. You have something like 250 strings to tune versus 6 on a guitar, you know. But yeah, I don't know.
I think guitar has a certain vibe that is, especially with the rhythm aspect, that is hardly able to be reproduced by a piano. I think the only 2 songs that I know, probably there's more, but from what I know, is Prince, who did, do you know Mary Don't You Weep?
Mary Don't You Weep. I probably heard it, yeah.
And also How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore?
Yeah, good one.
These two, I don't know how, but he really does. He's able to make this bluesy, downbeat feeling with it. It's almost like he's playing the piano as if he played a guitar with a bluesy vibe to it. And it's so unique. I really love it, but it's so rare. I never heard it anywhere else. So I think you can make it work, but you really, really have to know what you're doing with the piano.
Totally. A lot more notes to balance.
Yeah.
And a lot, yeah.
Okay, so so first of all, thank you for that introduction. I really loved your sound. Maybe, yeah, we could just go there first. Who are you? Maybe you can introduce yourself. Like, what's your name? Where you're from? What do you do? Are you a musician for a living? Like, what? Tell me a bit.
Totally. Okay. Hi. I am David. Last name Deutsch. And yeah.
Great last name.
Yeah. Crazy, huh? It's yeah. It's been an interesting life. Yeah. I'm a full-time musician. I currently live in Los Angeles. Music is all I do. It's all I think about. It's all I can ever do. Yeah, you know, I do a bunch. I do a lot of writing, do a lot of film scoring, do a lot of arranging, orchestrating, producing, mixing, mastering, a lot of session work. Yeah, I mean, I just do whatever the gig calls for in music. But nowadays, I'm mostly just focusing on my own creativity and my own music, and just finding every second in the day to create and express what it means to be alive and a human. Yeah, I've lived in LA about 7-ish years, originally from Ohio, but I moved from Seattle. I went to grad school up there, and yeah, just music, everything music. you know?
And you make a living from it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
How do you do it? Like, what's the income? Because I think that's something
Sure.
I try to explore, because a lot of people don't do that. So how do you make it?
I'll tell you what, there are some good months and there are some very dry months. And so income, I mean, dude, it's ranged everywhere from like $0 a month, to like over 50 grand a month. It just depends on royalties, depends on films, depends on gigs, like it's kind of all over the place, but
So we can go, because I will want to explore it anyway. So
totally.
let's take it step by step. Like, what kind of musical facet aspect are you covering? And maybe also what is like leading to the most gigs that you have, like where you going, where you heading that?
Yeah. So like every day is kind of different, and now I really just I just work on my own music mostly, and I live off of royalties. And
Meaning produced songs?
yeah, so the royalties are just like my own, or
No,
what
I mean writing credits or production credits,
Oh
or
yeah. So okay. So when I first moved to LA, I just like really grinded hard in film music because I didn't want to work a day job, but I wanted to be in music, and I didn't know anybody yet, and so I had to find a way to like pay rent quick because
how old were you?
I moved to LA when I was 23,
23.
and
Okay.
now I'm 30. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 37, 38. No, wait,
Sick, dude.
that's not true. I'm 39. Fuck, I'm getting
Dang,
40
dude.
this year. Shit, man. Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, you're doing great. And
Thanks.
yeah, so I just grinded really hard on getting gigs, finding gigs. And so I first like
In film music.
yeah. And
How,
so
like, how did you, did you knock on doors? How did you do
oh
it?
man, I wish it was that easy. Yeah, I mean I basically just emailed and reached out to a bunch of people, went out to a bunch of events, went to jams, went to film festivals, and just tried to find a way in which I could meet anybody, and just like the more people you meet, the more opportunities come your way. And like you always have to be ready for it though. And you always have to be like kind, and you have to be cool, and you like, like don't get too anxious, don't get too weird. Just be your normal, amazing self that we all love and know. And so eventually it led to me working with some people, and we ended up doing some studio films. I was on the orchestration side of things, and luckily those at the time were done union. And so I get like royalties from like a percentage of royalties from my work that I did um, comes from the union. And then like also while doing that and like paying my own rent, I was also like hustling and like scoring my own films. I was playing shows. I was working with artists and like musicians. And then like all my friends would hit me up to do some like session work. And so just like, tiny gigs come in, here and there, and it just like snowballs into larger projects. And then around COVID time.
Wait. Not so fast. um, so, you said, so you were conducting orchestra?
I was more just like doing the orchestration side. So like making sure it's like playable, it like sounds the best, make sure everything is like balanced between the orchestra and it's like written out
But how
clearly.
do you get royalties from that?
Yeah, so if it's done union, it's called secondary market funds. And if the project is done union, then like everything gets paid through the union. However much you like, how many pages you orchestrate or however many hours that you complete is all goes to this like massive pot that the movie or the project generates after it comes out through the secondary market funds, which is like streaming, album buys, airplane views, like different like anything anything that's not like played in the theaters, I guess, is secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
And so any money that generates, it gets put into a pot that then gets split up between all the people that are involved and like their percentage of work of like what it was. And so, I did, I feel like I did a crazy amount of work on these projects, but like my percentage wasn't like, 85% or whatever. And so, I'm just getting a piece of each of all these like movies. And so that's like royalties on the orchestration. But then also like, I have friends. Go ahead.
But sorry, didn't you said scoring for your own films?
Yeah. So, I did a lot of additional music on some TV movies, and I did, I just been.
But you said
out
your
here.
own film, so you
Right,
would.
I'm getting there.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm getting there. And so this whole time while I'm like trying to pay rent, I'm doing all these gigs, and then like while those gigs are happening, I am simultaneously out looking for like my own projects of writing. And so like I call it like day job, night job. And so as like my day job would end, I would go out and like look for people to meet, and eventually they would become collaborators, and like then you obviously get paid for your work. And so through there, I just met like a group of like great filmmakers and producers and artists, and then we've like scored a bunch of films, worked on a bunch of projects. I just finished up a short, and then from meeting other people on all these projects, it's like a spider web. You're always connected. And so like I'll bring some of my friends on to other gigs that I get from somewhere else, or they'll like bring me on to another gig. I just did this short film actually around the Hideaway time last year, and it was cool. It was with the editor and producer of the film, or like post-producer. He and I worked together on this feature film that I scored back in 2021-ish. And we just got along well, and then we hung out afterwards, and then he's like, hey, I got a new gig. Or actually, I got a gig in like 2022, and I brought him on. I was like, hey, we should, I talked to the director. I was like, yo, we should hire this editor. He's really amazing. And then we hired him, brought him on, worked together again. And then he got another gig, was like, here, come on to this one. And so it's just this like market of just like, you get a gig, you give a gig, you get a gig, you give a gig, you try to like all work together. And it was this really beautiful moment when I was living in Seattle, where like I went to this, networking event, so to speak. And the guy who was running it was like, okay, everyone, like raise your hand if you are interested in work, if you want to find a job, if you want a gig, you want to write some music, want to do this, that, or whatever. And so then everyone in the room was like, yeah, hey, me, like, I'm raising my hand. And he goes, all right, cool. Everyone put your hands down. And now it's like, everyone raise your hand if you have a job to give, or if you are looking to hire somebody. And like one person raised their hand. And then he goes like, all right, everyone look around you. Like everyone raised their hands to the first question. So like, this is not your competition. These are your collaborators. And like, by not competing and by working together to create something truly magnificent and great, like you will far surpass anything that a single job could ever give you. And so, it really changed my mind about everything, because everyone's
what a great lesson to give, right?
It's beautiful, it's like, it's stunning. And I'm just, everyone's out here like hunting for gigs. And I'm like, all right, I'm out here looking for like collaborators, because collaborators are like stocks that if you invest in like this tiny little stock at first, over time, it's just going to grow and flourish. And the thing with life is that like, if you go fishing, you're going to catch a fish. Like if you like go outside, if you go on a bike ride, you're going to experience whatever it is that you like need to experience. And if you invest in like your group of collaborators, it's always going to grow. Like if you plant that like figurative, but also literal flower, and you like water it and you give it enough sun, and you like feed it and you hydrate it and you give it, the right nutrients and all the different elements that it needs, that flower is going to grow. and it's going to bloom and it's going to blossom and eventually it's going to germinate and spread its seed everywhere else. And now you're going to have a field of flowers and like bushes. And so like, I just try to look at work and life and competition as like, just a flower patch. All to say, eventually all these projects in film have like generated income in the sense of royalties. And so from there, it's just allowed me to like focus on like my own work. And, not that it's 100% like my total income, because, we still gig, I still score short films. I still do arrangements. I just orchestrated an Apple TV show for a buddy, and like, I was doing some session work the other day. I had a writing session yesterday. Like I'm still out here gigging, but I'd say the bulk of my income comes from like a bunch of little gigs and a bunch of big gigs that are like, flowing down, and just like the money and the music has allowed me to stay afloat. I'll tell you what though, there are some months that are crazy dry, but there also are some incredibly abundant months too. And you just gotta save. You just gotta save. Just always save your money. Always save it. Get that new mic. Get that new guitar for sure. But like, always save your money, because dude, it's wow. We got I got scars on my back from these dry months. I'll tell you that one. It's tough out here, but it's.
How much do you? What do you? Questions. I have to write this down.
Totally.
First, okay, because I want to ask something else first.
Yeah.
How do you what do you trust in to keep doing this? Is it your abilities? Is it just the trust in the universe? Is it your trust in meeting people, collaborating? Like, what is it?
Yes to everything. Okay. And also, it's the only thing I've ever done. Only thing I can do. It's like, I have tried to do other things, like in the incredibly dry months, I have tried to pivot and see if I could do anything else. And life is always like, come back. And so, at this point, I just trust in myself. I trust in the universe. I trust in friends. And mostly I just trust in the music, because dude, if you dig deep enough and if you like go there, like it'll show you every answer every answer to any question you will and have ever asked. And it'll like, yeah, music's amazing, man. It's really wonderful. But I just trust that everything's going to work out, because, I'm meant to do music, and that's, I have to do it. It chose me, and I am just a vessel for it, now. And so, and if you do your best, it will help you out too, And so, yeah, that's it, but like, there's also tactics to getting gigs and work, and which is like the antithesis of music. Like there's sync. It's called sync music, where you can like sell music and like do like jingles or commercials and like, and trailers, which I've done a bunch of that stuff too, like sold albums of that. And that's all fine and dandy. It's a paycheck. And to me, music isn't, yes, music is a way that I am able to live, and it is a way that I'm able to like pay for health insurance and car insurance. And well, as Americans, we got health insurance, dude, and it sucks. I'll tell you that one. It's it's the way I pay for groceries, but it's I don't look at it as a financial like way of living. I look at it just like, the second I start looking at music as a commodity of something that I can like buy and sell and trade, it just is the complete antithesis of what music is to me. And so I try to never put myself in situations like that. And like, I will, like when people like hit me up to work with them, like I first like scope them out, get a feeling of them, see what the vibe is like. But then also like, if I believe in them and I believe in their vision, like I most of the time won't charge them, because at that point we're becoming like friends, we're becoming brothers, we're becoming like, siblings, and like it's unfair of me to like open myself up deeply to allow this music to like flow in and out with this person, and then be like, okay, cool, that'll be $1,500. Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, cash that check, like write me another check. Like, it's like people do that for sure. And that's how people make a living. That's how songwriters make a living. That's how like producers make a living, or mixers, masters, engineers. But to me, as like a creator, it's funny because in the beginning, I feel like we get no money. And then I feel like at the end we get all the money, because eventually like we're the ones creating the music that then like we go and play the shows, and we have like, people come in listening to, and then you get a part of the door or a part of the venue fee and like merch and all that. But I think treating music as a business, but like so not as a business, but a way of existence, has allowed me to be more, I guess, fortuitous in my music business than having treated it as a business. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying?
It does, and at the same time, I want to challenge you a bit on that. Not challenge you, but
I'm ready, dude.
I'm interested in. So, as an outsider, for looking into like places like Los Angeles, where there's a lot going on, and it seems like everybody's who's there is trying to chase something, like to become the next whatever. Sure. Tarantino and I don't know, Christopher Nolan, or the next, I don't know, Oscar Isaac, or I don't know, sure. Jennifer Lawrence. So, how much is a person not just a business opportunity? Because I think you can, when you're desperate as someone who tries to make it, I think that every interaction that you do could be like, oh my God, this person might be my breakthrough, like for sure. Trying to go to that place. So how did you deal with that, and were you aware of it, and what do you do about it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So I think one thing I try to keep in mind with myself is like, no matter how good you are at whatever you're great at, there's always someone better in the world. And there's always going to be a better guitar player. There's always going to be a better singer. There's always going to be a better drummer. There's always going to be a better this, that, whatever. It's all just variables. It's like X's and Y's in an equation. But no one is ever going to be as good at being you as you. And so if you don't lean into your abilities, but you lean more into you and just be like, this is who I am. This is the best I can do. Like, I know I can do this, I can do that, I can't do this, I can't do this, but like at the end of the day, I'm just myself. If you lean into the like being the most authentic version of you, and you show up that way, that's going to come off across like everyone that you meet. And I think especially in a city like LA, where everyone is trying to be something, trying to be this, trying to be that, like I think the people that are trying to just be themselves are the ones that like people tend to feel when you see them in a room. And also in a place like this, everyone knows somebody, like it's like the 7 degrees of separation, but really in LA, it's like 2 degrees. It might be 1 degree. It might be that degree of separation between you and whatever. Like, not that I know anybody that knows Obama, but like, I'm sure within 2 people of a connection, someone knows Obama. And it's just like everyone knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
But that's exactly what I'm trying to explore here, because that also means that the FOMO must be insane. Like not you like passing on a, I don't know, party or like dinner, or
sure,
must be like, I don't think you can. Let's say differently. What do you do when you're more an introvert person? Not
totally,
seemingly not having much to offer from a social standpoint.
Yeah, check it out. The best networking is not networking at all. And like the best way of going about like networking is interesting because it's like, oh, what can I get from you? What can I get from you? Who do I know? How do I do this? You know, like, oh, let me hit you up. Let me email you the next day. But really the best form of networking is getting a group of people that like you really vibe with and they're just growing together, you know? And like that's your network. Cause like your net worth is your network and like your network is your net worth as well at the same time. And so the FOMO, yeah, FOMO is real for sure. But at the end of the day, I think once you get over the fact that that happens every single day, like if you wanted, there's a party today somewhere we could find with, I'm sure, with a celebrity, you know, there's probably a party happening right now that we weren't invited to, you know, it's like, whatever, you know, you can go to, like, I went to Whole Foods yesterday to get some groceries and I saw like a famous actor just hanging out, just chilling, just like shopping for groceries. And it's like, oh, they're just normal ass people. Dude was just like, you know, shopping for some veggies. Like, you know, it's funny. Rich people eat vegetables too, you know? It's crazy.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's some breaking news, I guess.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty wild. But I think with FOMO, it's just recognizing that, yeah, you might not be at that event, but also they're not at the event that you're at right now too. And so like they're missing out on everything that is wherever you are in that moment. And yeah, sure, you might not be at a party with, you know, Britney Spears and Justin Bieber. But at the same time, like if you're out searching for those types of parties, you're gonna find it. You know, it's like with fishing, it's like with anything, it's like with biking. Like if you search for it, you're gonna find it. And if it's for you, it'll come easy. And if it's not for you, you're gonna have to go through some hoops, you know. But I think if you just search for the things in life that are for you and you meet each other when and where you're meant to meet, everything's gonna be way more explosive in terms of like love and color. And that, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like the thing with the stocks. Find your friends, find a group of people and collaborators that you trust and that you respect, and that like somebody that like challenges you to learn every day and grow, and then just grow together, because like everyone's tree is growing at the same time, you know. Everyone's roots are in the earth. It's just how are you you know, divvying up your resources through your trunk. And so yeah, FOMO's real. But also at the same time, it's overrated because who cares? I've been to those parties and no one's talking about gigs. No one's talking about work, you know? Like I went to a party last week and like it was at this it was at this really cool guy's house, and very incredibly successful musician, and he invited over a lot of other incredibly successful musicians. And yes, I could have been like, oh my God, you worked on that record, you work on this record, what about this, what about that? But it was more like, yo dude, cool shoes, where'd you get them? Like, oh, what do you think of this burger? Like, you know, oh, this is a sick pool. Like, you know, most of the time at these events that people think, oh, it's gonna be my next break, like people are just like not even talking about the music, you know. It's the craziest, wildest thing, you know. It's everything that we all do forever and always, but in those moments it's just like, man, did you see the
I think I wouldn't be that guy. I could not make small talk with people who are like, especially like, take Hideaway. I was so relieved that I didn't have to talk about the weather.
wow.
You don't even know. It was the best thing for me to just talk about things that I love.
Totally.
And with the podcast as well, I would like, if it, I'm not saying shallow, but with the, I don't want to even talk about I don't want to, what do you say, assume it onto the party that you were at, because I don't think it was like superficial, but trying to, like, when you say who you are, I wouldn't be the guy who talks about burgers and shoes, just to take that example.
Totally,
right?
totally.
So I'd probably be the guy who rains on everyone's parade by talking about work and music.
Nah, dude, just be yourself, be cool, like if the conversation flows there, then yeah, everyone will talk about it. And like,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
would
like,
take it there.
and it's not like we didn't, because like obviously we're all musicians, we're going to talk about it, but it's not like, oh, like, get me on a record, bro. Like how, it's,
Oh yeah,
it's,
okay. That I understand, yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah,
hey,
okay.
what were some of your favorite shows you ever played? And someone's like, oh, Brazil was pretty sick, like Tokyo was pretty crazy. And it's like, oh yeah,
I understand.
I was like, Australia was pretty wild. It's more just like sharing stories, hanging out rather than like networking,
Okay, yeah, that I get. That I completely understand.
Totally.
So, let's talk about your current creative endeavors. You talk about that you are more looking towards yourself and making your own music, and you mentioned something about an album.
Yeah, so much music.
Talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, man. I've just been searching for a long time, and I have found.
Are you so that I know? Are you in the process of making an album, or is it out?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're always in the process of making an album. And
did you already make an album, and this is a new one, or?
I have made albums, but this one in particular is one that I've been working on for a couple years now. And
okay.
I've just been searching and searching and searching, and I felt like I was going through like vines and deserts and clouds, and eventually I came upon this well and of this water that I've been able to like swim in, and it's been really beautiful.
Is it related to the vibe that you played in the beginning?
Yes and no, and yes and no, and yes and no. At the same time, like yes, there are elements of that in most of the songs, but then also some of the songs like I feel like the folky, like, stringy acoustic stuff is about like a different set of ideas and feelings and emotions. And this album really just goes through so many different stages of thought and feeling, and it is contemplative, and it is explorative, and it is reflective and revealing all at the same time. And it like goes through this whole journey of this, I guess, of just like really what it is just a process of finding it and seeing what comes along with it, because the it is you at the end of the day. And we're all just trying to get back into remember ourselves. And yeah.
Does it have a title already?
Not yet. I've been searching for it though. I've been swimming for it. I have a couple ideas for it, but I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to funnel everything that is down into just a couple words.
How many songs?
I mean, shoot, dude. Like, I think in the last couple of years, I've written like 80 or 90 songs, but I think for this one, it'll be somewhere around 12 or like 15. It really all depends, because nowadays a lot of artists are like writing longer songs and then breaking them up into like smaller songs that immediately like go into each other in the album for like playlisting and streaming. But I'm a fan of a long song because it's a complete idea. And like one of the songs in the album is 9 minutes long. Another one is like 4.5. Another one's 5 minutes. Another one is like, 27 minutes long. It's just like all these ideas that are packed into one.
27 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's a bunch of different movements in it, but we'll see if it actually is 27. It might not be at the, like when it's all like done and mixed. It might end up being like 21 or 22. It just depends. But yeah, it's
So is it more like, how do you select which song is on the album? Because I know the process.
Man, easy.
I heard in a Quincy Jones interview that for Off the Wall's record, like Michael Jackson Off the Wall, they had 80, 90 songs, and then they just took the best 12. Like, I don't know how he determined best, but how do you do it?
It's easy.
You say it's easy.
So easy. It is incredibly easy. Do you play guitar? Do you play piano? Do you play bass?
I like a cat would walk over the piano. That's how I play
Alright.
piano. And my instrument is Logic Pro. So I'm
Okay.
yeah, but I can't really play.
It's like, I would say picking a song that goes on the album is like picking a guitar off the wall and being like, oh my God, this one's for me. Like you go through so many different guitars at the store and you're like, nope, not this one. Oh, this one's $30,000, but it doesn't feel like me, you know? But like this $100 guitar, it's like just, burns my soul, you know? Like, and so I think just finding the songs that feel like the ones that are on the album. I know it's a terrible answer, but like,
Yeah, let me go into it. I have with like for stuff like that, I have hundreds of questions.
yeah, let's hear it.
That feels like me. So how quickly can you determine that it feels like
First
you?
note.
Mhm.
You just know it, you know, like when it is channeling through you, you just know it. You just feel it, like everything in your soul. And if you're trying to make a song as like to be the best song on the album, it's probably not going to be the best song on the album. You know, it's probably going to be the one that you like didn't even try on, but like makes you feel so much. And like, you know, recently I got a couple new guitars, but I probably play, the one I played in the beginning, I played probably like 150 guitars, and I was like, nope. And I could tell before I even took it off the wall. I was like, no, this one's not. Like, no, this one, like maybe this one. And then you get a feeling, you're like, oh, maybe. And then you put it through its runner and you're like, this is a phenomenal guitar, but this is not the one. And you just, it's a pretty woo-woo answer, but like the song will tell you, you know, the song will tell you.
No, I don't think it's a woo-woo answer. I mean, I get it from let's say from a DJ perspective, because I dig through a lot of songs just because I'm obsessed with finding great music. I could like if vinyl stores still existed, at least in my city, there are no. I would be the guy who's in there the first, like it opens, you dig through, like you listen to everything, and then you leave when the store closes. That's who I am.
Dude, come to LA. We got record stores on like every block, dude.
But selecting the song, I need like 3 seconds to know. And
exactly.
Usually I mean, of course I can be very much mistaken. I mean, but because some songs, there is stuff in there that works only through the experience, like through the emotional journey, that there actually is an emotional journey. So probably I'm skipping too many songs that I would love if I listened to them longer. On the other hand, I still feel that there is something, I don't know what it is, frequency, vibe, some feeling, and it just hits you. So, and that's what you mean also?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because like, look, you can write an amazing song and it might be the best song you've ever written, but it might not be the best song for the album. And so it could be one that goes on another album in the future, or it could go on an album that, or it could just be off album release, you know. And like a lot of music is like that, because when you're searching, when you're like, you know, opening yourself up to find whatever it is that you're looking for, you're going to get so much more, and you're just going to have to like sort through and move. It's like, I think of it like painting, where you put all of your, I mean, I do a lot of painting, but my painting's a little, it's all scattered, but I put colors everywhere. And then like, I actually like to like paint with my hands, because I got to touch it. You know, I've been like playing piano and guitar my whole life. I got to like, I got to feel it. And so it's really just like moving like the songs and the music where it needs to go. And like if like you get all of this information and like, oh, like this color, like, oh man, I love this like group of colors right here on the painting, but it's not what the painting is. You just like move it to a different canvas, you know? And so like that's where all those like 80, 90 fucking 18,000 songs comes from, it's just like being open and like trying to channel, and but also at the same time, like it's also staying like fresh and fit and ready, because like when you're in these deep writing sessions, it's kind of like a marathon. And if you're not like physically fit for a marathon, then you're not going to finish the marathon. And so you're going to get ideas and you're going to run half of the race. And I feel like just writing all these other songs is just great, like workout. It's a great practice of just like staying like fit and ready. And like when you know it's not a song that is like going to make the album, but it still excites you. You're like, cool, let me chase this. Let me do some reps. Let me like work out these muscles. And so that the next time you show up to the gym, boom, like you're gonna hit your PR, you're gonna hit your like max, and then from there you're just gonna like, yeah, you'll just know, you'll just feel it, I know, yeah.
Is there a concept behind it, like conceptual aspect for the songs?
It's a lot of searching, a lot of finding, a lot of questioning. And the concept is just, I guess, a reflection of all of those different thoughts. So it's like you reflect, and then what comes from the reflection is the song, and that like it paints like a certain color, which then like you do a lot of searching, or you do a lot of like thinking, and like you put those out there, and then like what comes back. And so the concept is really just searching, I guess. Searching and growing and finding your own place. It's all about finding what is meant to be and where it's meant to be and why.
How much do you take feedback into account? Other people's opinions about the song choice?
Sometimes, yeah, yes and no. I believe in the music itself, and I've only gotten good feedback, which is great, which is also not good at the same time, because like I definitely want somebody to challenge me on my ideas and make me think about something different. I got you, dude. I'll send you a song. And yeah, but I think when I was younger, I used to write some ideas and then send them out immediately to people and be like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I wouldn't ever really get the answer I was looking for, because the answer that you're searching for your question, you already have inside yourself. And I was just trying to hear it out of other people's mouths. But I think now what I do is I actually build up the song to its about like 95% of the way there, so that like if there are any changes, they're like tiny little like microscopic ones rather than like foundational changes. And from there, it just has forced me to like really believe in the music and really believe in what I'm writing, and like really be confident and like, okay, this is it, like sure, everything's fluid, but like this is the general shape of the idea that we're going for. And then from there, I'll get feedback on like, oh, this part could be like this, the guitar sounds like this, it's mixed a little bit different. It's never really like, oh, change this chord, change this melody, change this lyric. It's more just like broad, rather than like, oh wait, don't paint like that, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just like, even with my fiance, like I used to just send her ideas all the time, and I'm like, okay, hold on, I don't even have the idea fully fleshed out. So like sending it to her, she won't understand the like full weight of the idea that I'm doing, that I hear in my mind. So let me just plant the bulb. Let me water the flower. Let me like watch the flower grow. Let's like have this whole garden in this forest grow, and then take them to the hike and be like, this is it. This is what I've been creating. What do you think? And then from there, they'll be like, oh, you could put a different tree over here. You could put a different tree over there. But like, they'll be like, actually, you know, at this point, it allows them to comment on the actual forest itself rather than the like architectural plans. Because if you build up a whole forest and like a rubric and a blueprint, and then someone's like, actually, let's build a mall, you're like, oh, that is totally like not what I had in mind. I have to rethink everything. But if you come to them with already a pre-built thing, so feedback, I appreciate it. And it is something I look forward to.
Would it be able to sway your song choice for the album?
No, for sure not. No, no one has gone through what I had to go through to find this music. And so like trusting in that this is like for the album, sick. But if they have ideas on it, I'm all open. But like those decisions are above me. You know, it's like that's above my pay grade. I am just the worker, you know, I am the bee helping out the queen, you know. And but like yeah.
I want to recommend you a song, because every time you speak and some things you speak, they remind me of that song.
Yeah.
I even already mentioned it in the podcast, but I'm going to do it again. It's Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts.
Good Thoughts
by the Funkadelics. Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts. And it is a 12-minute song. And it roughly at the middle, first it's just a very laid back, groovy like guitar, and then with some how do you say, solo, like electric guitar solo, just nothing's fancy in the sense of technique, but very, I think, very emotional. And then roughly at the half point, it fades out, and you think the song is finished, and then it just picks up exactly at the same point. And then a deep voice talking like super philosophical, deep meaning lyrics. And I think you would dig it. I would be very interested in how you like it.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Especially with the lyrics also. I think you would really like it.
Sick, dude. I cannot wait to listen. Yeah. I love listening to music. It's everything about music, you know? It's wonderful.
So, okay, so it's going to be roughly 12 songs.
Yeah.
And in what state is that? I mean, did you already record all of the songs, or?
Yeah, it's all very fluid, you know? There are like, I would say done, mixed, mastered, ready to be uploaded, like 3 or 4 songs done, fully done. And then all the other ones I have written and recorded a bunch, and I'm like in the process of re-recording, exploring, producing, mixing. I work with a friend, and you know, I'll send him music and he'll send me back some like strings. And so we're doing a lot of back and forth right now, like just doing a bunch of writing. And then yeah, I mean, I'm always exploring. There's a song I've been working on for a while, and it's like 88% there, you know. There's another one that's like 90-ish% there, but like that, the last couple percentages is crucial. So they're mostly like almost there, but not yet. And like the final like sprinkle and twinkle will come very soon for sure. But I think the whole process is always fluid, and you know, it's kind of like an album is never done. It's just like abandoned, or it's just released, you know, because like the art is never finished, because there's songs, I mean, man, it goes so much deeper. Like I truly believe in this concept that you've met everyone that you will ever meet in your entire life already. And whether it's like,
what do you mean by that?
So you will meet thousands of new people in your life, but those people represent a core like persona of people that you've already met in your entire life. And I think I think the same is with music, that you have written every piece of music that you will ever write in your entire life. You're just exploring new ways to sound so lame, but you're just exploring extensions of those songs. And so like, I mean, man, like there's songs on the album that are just extensions of songs from previous albums, or extensions of songs off of like different ideas that I wrote years ago, that like that the dust and the stardust of everything that song is came and like birthed this flower that I'm now exploring this whole other thing with. And I think everything is just always connected. Like to truly start something new is, I think, rare. I think incredibly, incredibly rare. And that everything comes from something somewhere, and that a new, completely radicalized thing is very hard to imagine, but more as these are extensions off of the extensions off of the extensions off of the extensions that become what it is. And while it may be a completely, literally maybe a completely different song, that same place that you wrote it from was the exact same space and the exact same feeling from this other song, even though this song might be like a metal song and this song might be like, a soft acoustic song, and I think with people too, it was really interesting in the Hideaway camp, because I saw so many people from my past in the camp, and people that I've never met before. And like, I've seen so many people. There's like a line I think about. It's like, I've seen your face in so many different like places, and whether it's your physical face or not, like who you are and what you represent is like, I think, echoed in the universe, and in so many different ways. I have so many friends now that are exactly like friends that I had in the past, but the next evolution, and so much better, and I would say that that's in life too, because think about it, like the next house you get hopefully is bigger and better. The next guitar you get is hopefully a little bit better. The next friend you get is hopefully a better friend. But that friend will remind you of something, of somewhere, of someone, of something in your past, that we're all just like continuing to like grow, and we're the next iteration of, and we're the next like branch on a tree of this trunk that we've been like living and growing from our entire lives.
It's interesting because I have some things to say about this. So first of all, there is something, I'm not sure, there's something resisting in going along with you. It's a feeling like I can't say yes, because something within me says no. I'm not sure if I can agree, and I'm trying to find it. And it's so interesting because maybe I didn't understand it yet fully, but from what I'm seeing, it is just the podcast example. I mean, you're now the 16th person I'm interviewing, and how radically different every episode is. And I'm thinking, I never had this conversation before. I'm so grateful about it. I never had this thought before. I never seen anything like this person,
Totally.
this way of living. It's so, I couldn't have even thought about it if I really, like the way, what you're doing in your life, how this episode came about, the way you played. Even if I like learned you beforehand, I still couldn't have foreseen what's going to happen. So there's something within me that says, yeah, it feels like I don't agree, because I feel I'm seeing facets from the world that are completely new. Like almost like maybe there is a tree with all these branches, but I've only been like in the part that wasn't lighted from the sun, like just the shadow part. And now I'm just walking around the trunk and like,
dude, come hang, bro. Yeah, it's great over here. The sun's shining, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. So, yeah.
I mean, hey, dope. That's awesome. No, that's great.
The other thing is what I also find intriguing, like you said it's very rare that something actually radically new is invented.
Yeah.
What I agree with is everything comes from something. That I completely agree. What would you say are things that were radically new from what you know in music? I have some ideas for myself, but I want to hear your answer first.
Radically new in music. I'll think out loud. I'm not really sure, because if you analyze all of the new things that are happening in music, what is new? It all stems from somewhere. It all stems from an inspiration of something of somewhere, like we could analyze Jacob's music, we could analyze Skrillex, we could look at anything, but like, okay.
That part I agree completely. It comes from somewhere, but still there's something that suddenly is even a new genre, like.
Sure. I think genre's a interesting way. It's the whole words thing of like labeling that is tough, because like, right, there may be new songs that come out, but those songs are rooted in emotions of so many other colors that came before it. And so it's like, you're like trying to invent a new element. It's like trying to invent a new force of nature, like a new primary color. And I think,
let's put it differently. Let's try not to find like the connection between things, because that you can find. But for you personally, what for you was something new that you never heard before that you felt was innovative?
I mean, probably the tunings, I would have to say, is shifting and creating custom tunings, whether it be at 440 pitch or 431 or 430, whatever it is. I've found in my life that like my sense of like pitch is a little flat, and that's because my piano growing up was flat, and it wasn't really ever in tune. It was in tune, but it wasn't like perfectly in tune, like with a piano tuner that like would come and tune it. And it's funny. I think everything in life shifts because of the way, I mean, everything is vibrations in tune. People like to talk shit about string theorists because they're all like, oh, the universe is vibrating as a sense of strings and strands, but like, oh, it's so true, but like, I think, it's interesting. I think the tuning of your instrument, whether you get it tuned or not, goes back to where it wants to be with you. And that like, my piano, I tune it myself. I've had other people tune it, and it always goes back to the tuning that it is in. And where like some of the notes are out, some of the notes are in, some of the notes are not in, most of the notes are out. And like, I could tune my guitar perfectly in tune, and then the second like I break the tuning in, like 5 minutes of playing, it shifts back into the tuning that it like wants to be at. And like same with the bass, same with anything. So like, I don't think it's the instrument. I think it's the person, and it's always like altering the tune. It's just funny because like if you have an issue, like my whole life I've always had an issue with my guitars around the like 7th-ish fret, 7th to 9th-ish fret, and like I found a new guitar tech now that like he does really amazing work. But like, what are the odds that every guitar out of like, 30 guitars or whatever I've had that I've cycled through in my life, everyone has an issue with that same amount of area? And it's like, I think it's not the guitar. I think it's me. I think it's personal. And, and if you look at like the 7th fret of your body, if you think about it, like, oh, I would say that's where like my lungs are. And I have asthma as a kid growing up, which like, we're fine now, we can breathe. But like, it's just funny how everything in life reflects like whatever it is that like the intention that you put into it. And so like the tuning of the piano like always drops to this tuning that I'm in. Like when I sing and I look at the tuning in like Melodyne or Auto Tune, it's always just like a little bit flat, and it's like always just a little bit off, but it's like consistently off. So is that off, or am I just is the music off. And so radically new, something that supercharged me was just like leaning into that tuning, like not being in tune, like changing the actual like tuning the notes of the guitars strings, but also changing like the like ways in which the notes like physically vibrate between them. But that isn't radically new, you know, because people have been doing it's, you could call it microtonal, but it's like microtonal. You know, it's so negligible because like, you know, you can do and like slide in, or you know, like that's microtonal, but it's like the micros within the micros within the micros within the micro that like. So yeah, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Wait 1 second. My thoughts on that is when I see what brought music to a new level, like that is now part of the cultural expression, I always felt it had to do with something where it's a new. I don't think it's actually necessarily always the music itself that was completely rethought, but more misapplying, misusing things that were already there and using them in a way that weren't supposed to be like that.
Totally.
And it started with, let's just say, like chants on the slavery fields of, cotton collecting, where they were chanting and misused the way of how
Totally
basically it worked. And ragtime, where they started playing piano because that was the only thing, and started with the blue notes and all of these things. But I think it was even more pronounced and prevalent with things that are actually technology. So, for example, introducing synthesizers. That's a new way of expressing. Suddenly there is a completely new genre. Depeche Mode wouldn't exist without synthesizers.
Totally.
The 808. I mean,
for sure.
It wasn't supposed to be a trap drum, like
yeah.
It wasn't supposed to kill your subwoofer, It was supposed to be some background backing track drums, a sampler, drum and bass
for
sampling,
sure.
Rap samples.
I
think misusing the intention of a technology that wasn't even supposed to be used like that introduced radically different things, like misusing a turntable to like flip the beats so that the breaks in between were suddenly the groove that people were dancing to in like the 70s of
totally,
Grandmaster Flash. So that's what I see as radically new.
Yeah, that leads me to like so every week I play tennis with a friend, and we always just talk about like philosophical ideas, and tennis is so amazing. Do you play tennis?
I did, yeah.
Tennis is a reflection of life, and it's a beautiful game. But
okay, my favorite game is basketball. But
all right, hey, yeah, basketball is deep too. They're all a sport. Which sport is infinitely deep, and it's amazing. But one thing we talked about recently is like, it kind of goes along the lines of like, what came first, like the chicken or the egg? But really, what came first, the thing that we're describing or the math to describe it? Because like synthesizers is just a way of like, we were able to grab electricity and voltage and be able to turn it into like different waves. But if you think about like human voice, it's somewhere between like, it's like it's a wave, but if you wanted to recreate it, you could like you could do like phase modulation or like ring modulation on like 9 different sine waves to mimic human voice through like different like formant filtering. And so it's like, what came first, the thing or the thing that describes the thing? Or did they both come together at the same time? Because math explains everything, like, I mean, I love math, but I'm not like deep in it. I wish I could be deeper in it, but like, because math is just a way of explaining everything. So it's like, did everything come first and then, or did math come first? But it's also that universal thing where like, I feel like we as a race of human beings and like a species, I say, yeah, species, like we found math. Like we didn't invent it. It's just one of those like core principles of life. And like, is physics math? Is math physics? They're all kind of like, it's like, is a square a rectangle or a rectangle a square? Like a rectangle is a square, but a square is not a rectangle. And so it just makes me think, cause like, yeah, like drum and bass probably, if we never like conquered, if we still have so much to learn about electricity, but had we never like harnessed the power of electricity, that music would still be created somewhere, just with different sounds and different instruments and different feelings. And like the fact that it's, break beats and like amen breaks or amen breaks just goes to show, like, I just think of it as like orchestration or like instrumentation, where like, if your music is sound and strong, and I think the strongest and most pure and like the most bulletproof to say music is ones that can be played on any instrument at any time. So like take a lot of Jacob's records, like here's some really strong sound music where if you played Hideaway on like a cat toy piano, it would still be the essence of what that song means, because the music itself is so sound and so strong. And so like, like Dead Mouse or Depeche Mode, like might not have existed in this form of like instrumentation and orchestration, but like somehow they would have got the message and still brought it out, whether it's chanting in a field or singing around a fire or like hitting rocks and sticks. And, it's just weird because like, what came first, orchestration, instrumentation, or music itself? It's all kind of like, cause you can't really have music without something to channel the music through, but to channel the music through, it's orchestration, it's instrumentation, it's like arrangement, it's sound itself. And so it's like, what came first, sound or music? Was music always there and we just had to find sound, or was sound always there and we just had to put it together to make music? And so it's this interesting, just things of life, dude.
If I try to answer that, I think there's a third force that is coming into play, and that is actually what you're talking about the entire time, which is the emotional connection to the thing that you want to express. And I think that although it might have been through curiosity and exploration and experiments, but actually once there is somebody who wants to express something that they couldn't before with something else, I think that's when it changes. But I think that what comes first, if I try to answer it, I think it's the willingness to express something that they can't with any other medium.
Yeah.
Like your tuning, that comes, it feels like it comes from finding something within you,
Totally. Yeah. Man, life's beautiful. The more you think about it, the weirder it gets, but the more beautiful it gets too. Cause like, what are we actually ever really ever even ever actually doing? What is life? We're just plopped down into this survival game and we just gotta like, go get it, champ. And you're just like, and now we have everything. Like, even just look around, like look at the desk that your computer is on right now. And it's just like, think about the years and the evolutions and like the knowledge that it took just to get this desk here, or even just to have this microphone, or even just to have like the headphones in your, your ears right now. Like, it's like, wow, what an amazing time to be alive. holy cow, I can see like what it might have been like in the past, and oh my gosh, I can kind of see in the next future a little bit what I might be, but who knows? Dude, it's amazing. It's wonderful and it's beautiful. And it also goes back to the question, what is radically new? Because like, are microphones radically new? Because electricity was already around. We just had to discover, like math, like Nikola Tesla had to with his machines, like static electricity, has always been there in nature. There's always been air, there's always been water, there's always been land, there's always been fire, there's always been electricity, there's always been math, there's always been emotion, there's always been, and so it's like, what are these other things that are out there that we have yet to discover, which, not to go on another tangent. Go ahead.
You mean that are already there and we just don't know how to find them, how to see them. Yeah.
It reminds me of, it's a little weird, but there's a shrimp called a mantis shrimp, and they like have like really powerful like claws or like pincher pusher
they're
things.
clapping together, something like that, right?
Yeah. And it's crazy because they have eyes with the most amount of like sections of being able to see of color. I think they're like 12 sectioned. They can see the most color out of anything on this earth, I think. And it's funny because they also have antenna on their heads that they use to sense the world around them. But the antenna are actually outside of like one of their visible spectrums. And so they can't actually see the antenna on their head, but they sense the world around it with their antenna, which makes you think like, oh fuck, like what am I not seeing with my eyes, but am I seeing with everything else in me that like allows me to be this antenna for everything else? Because we all got antennas, dude. We all got like these weird little things sticking out of us, or like the person at the Hideaway camp that had the little sprouts for everybody. Like we all got sprouts growing outside of us,
name? Yeah, I'm blanking on the name, but it was beautiful as well.
Amazing. I still
everybody
have it too.
Walked around with these things. Yeah,
so dope. But it's like, like
even the artists on stage had them.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
Yeah, but it just makes you think like, what kind of sprouts do we have that are growing that we actually can't see out of our visible spectrum, but we like can feel with our existence.
Yeah,
itself.
That's a good. I think for that to be able to do, it comes back to be able to be open, because I think if you're closed off through, I don't know, hurt or pain, or trying like closing off from the world because you're so psychologically hurt, let's just use that word, it's very tough to connect to that, like to open the antenna,
Totally. Turn your magnet on.
Exactly, because everything that came from the outside felt painful, so I have to somehow distance myself from the outside world. And that, unfortunately, while at the same time maybe it brings some competence and some uniqueness, I think it also shuts you off from exactly things that you wouldn't be able to ever see with your eyes.
For sure. It reminds me of this quote I saw recently of how like, if you were able to make it through the pain, you can definitely make it through the healing. If you were able to make it through, your first couple of lessons on doing scales, you can definitely make it up to chords, but if you can make it through the darkness, you can always turn your light on again, because at the same time, we're just shining,
I think the question is, can you trust it? Like,
always.
There is a basic deep trust that is within us, but some people don't trust that it's enough to hold, to be
For sure.
that they're held. So I think that is a very, very major point, that some people just don't trust that I can, I don't know, surrender.
Yeah. I think for sure. I think it goes back. I was talking with my friend. I think she was on your podcast, Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you about that as well. Yeah,
Yeah, she's fucking
yeah.
dope, dude. She's amazing.
She is.
Really, I'll just give her a shout out. She is one of the kindest, most wise and ancient of beings I have ever come across in my life. You know, I'm grateful to have met you and her and everyone else at the Hideaway. There's such an energy to everyone at that camp. But I was talking with her recently of how like you know, it's like with anything in life with trust. Like if you go fishing, you're gonna catch a fish. You know, and like if you search out there in the universe, you're gonna find it. And if you like relax enough to float, you'll like soon see that you fly. And it's like, all right, it's always there. It's always there, you know, and just trust that like it's gonna come back. So like anyone that like is feeling dim or hurt, like, dude, just turn your light up just even 1% and see how much more, you know, how much more you see. And that like, you know, as long as you're out here not trying to dim anyone else's light, you'll understand that you guys shine brighter together. And yeah, it's a really amazing thing that like, yes, you can always trust that it is going to get better because everything will always work out. You know, everything is always going to work the way it is meant to be, the way it should be, the way it is going to be. But yeah, if you trust in yourself, trust in like the universe, trust in your friends, trust in your family, trust in your support system, like, yeah, dude, yes, for sure.
I think that would be some very beautiful last words. Except I have one more question.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
And it's concerned with Elizabeth.
Yeah.
You're working with her, right? Like you're collaborating?
Yeah.
That's so cool. What's your plans with like what are you doing?
Man, everything. We plan to do everything for sure. Everything.
Take over the world.
Dude, you know, share the world, you know. It's we make a lot of music together, we make a lot of thoughts together, we have a lot of experiences and memories, and I've grown so much just like from knowing her. And we've been writing some music, we've been playing a lot of music, and I'd say right now we're just exploring what it could what it potentially and possibly is, because I think we have an idea of what we want it to be, but I think that idea is so like, I think we're only seeing as far as we can see right now, but it is so much deeper and so much further than like what we're actually seeing. And we're searching, you know, we're like looking far. And so, yeah, it's great. We're doing, I guess, you know, you could say it music, but music is life, man. Music is, it's everything, you know? And so, you know, we're just exploring and just living and existing and being and floating and flying and fishing and searching and being open to anything that comes. And, you know, she's incredibly strong and powerful in every way possible, physically, but also, you know, mentally, literally, figuratively. And so just being around somebody that is like a giant, you know, you see one, how tall they are, but you also see how tall you can be or you are at the same time. And then together, it's just even more tall, even more strong, even more, you know? So, but it's great. We've got some really sick songs going. Her music is amazing. It's really fun to play. The harmony is pretty sick. The arrangements are really cool. She has a great voice. Her writing style is like really, it's really, you know, it's funny. It's like unique. And I've never really come across somebody that writes the way that she writes. And every time she shows me like a new song of hers or like a way in which she's writing a song, it's just like, I'm just like mind blown, because it's like, it's just such a different way than I've ever thought about anything, which makes me like shift the way that I'm thinking, which then like, oh, instead of looking at it from straight on, I'm looking at it this way. But now that I'm conscious that I'm looking at it this way, I can like come above.
Sorry.
And I could just see all, like, you see so many different angles. So she's great. She's a great, I don't know, mathematician, protractor. Protractors are the things that allow you to see all the different angles. And so it's, yeah.
Yeah, I think you were also lucky that so many people were from California and also from LA in Hideaway. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the most people came from USA, obviously, but even there, so many from California, and even there, so many from LA. It's so cool.
Hey, dude, it's a great spot to be at, man. Come hang, dude. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's sunny. It's shiny right now. I mean, my curtains are closed, but it's bright and beautiful.
I don't want to leave on a bleak note, but I'm not going to travel to the US for a long time. Sorry.
Yep. I hear you. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. We're trying to get out too, but yeah, there are, in the darkest of rooms, there's always bright lights. So,
I can see that cool. Especially with artists. I think they're more needed than ever before.
Always. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, David. It was great.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Thanks for doing this too. This is awesome.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Cheers. You too, bro.
Bye.